What is today, May 1st, widely known as May Day or International Workers' Day, is sometimes informally referred to in North America as Phone-In Sick Day. This phrase does not describe an official holiday or formally recognized event, but rather a workplace phenomenon rooted in labor history and quiet protest. Because May 1st is not a recognized public holiday in the United States and Canada, some workers choose to call in sick on that day as a way to acknowledge May Day, participate in labor-related events, or express solidarity with workers' rights without engaging in a formal strike. The act of phoning in sick allows individuals to be absent without openly declaring protest, avoiding potential disciplinary consequences in workplaces where strikes or coordinated actions are discouraged or prohibited. The idea is closely tied to the historical significance of May Day, which commemorates labor struggles such as the 1886 Haymarket Affair and the movement for the 8-hour workday. Over time, Phone-In Sick Day has come to represent a subtle, individualized form of labor expression, particularly in non-union environments. While it can provide workers with a low-risk way to observe the day, it also raises ethical and practical considerations, such as the strain placed on coworkers and the misuse of sick leave. As a result, the practice remains informal, unevenly observed, and rarely acknowledged openly by employers, even though higher than usual absences on May 1st are sometimes quietly anticipated.
What is today International Pilates Day is an annual observance dedicated to celebrating the Pilates method and its benefits for physical strength, flexibility, posture, and overall well-being. It is held on the first Saturday of May each year. The day is recognized by Pilates studios, instructors, and practitioners around the world, many of whom offer special classes, workshops, or community events to introduce people to the practice. Pilates is a system of physical conditioning developed in the early 20th century by Joseph Hubertus Pilates, born 1883, dying in 1967. A German-born physical trainer. As a child, Pilates suffered from asthma, rickets, and rheumatic fever, which led him to study anatomy, gymnastics, weightlifting, boxing, yoga, and martial arts in an effort to strengthen his body. From this wide range of influences, he developed a holistic approach to movement that emphasized control, precision, breathing, and alignment. During World War I, Pilates was interned in England as a German national. While there, he began teaching his exercise methods to fellow internees and working with injured soldiers. He is credited with adapting hospital beds using springs to help bedridden patients regain strength, an idea that later evolved into the resistance-based equipment now central to Pilates. After the war, Pilates returned briefly to Germany, where his work attracted the attention of dancers and physical trainers. In the 1920s, he immigrated to the United States, settling in New York City with his wife, Clara Pilates. Together, they opened a studio near several major dance companies. Dancers from organizations such as the New York City Ballet use Pilates' method for injury prevention and rehabilitation, helping to cement its reputation within the dance world. Joseph Pilates originally called his system contrology, describing it as a conscious control of the body through precise movement and breath. He believed that poor posture, shallow breathing, and habitual tension were root causes of physical and mental illness. His work emphasized balanced muscular development, spinal health, and efficient movement rather than brute strength. Pilates outlined these ideas in his books, Your Health from 1934 and Return to Life through Contrology in 1945. After Joseph Pilates' death in 1967, Clara and a group of dedicated students, often referred to as the Pilates Elders, continued teaching and preserving the method. In the late 20th century, Pilates expanded beyond the dance community into physical therapy, fitness, and mainstream wellness. The name Pilates became widely used after a 2000 U.S. court ruling declared the term generic, allowing broader commercial use. Today, Pilates is practiced worldwide in studios, gyms, rehabilitation clinics, and homes. While modern styles vary, the core principles, control, concentration, centering, precision, breath, and flow, remain rooted in Joseph Pilates' original vision, developing a strong, well-aligned body that supports both physical health and mental clarity. National Lemonade Day in the United States refers to an annual observance that celebrates lemonade while also promoting youth entrepreneurship and financial literacy, but the name is used in two closely related ways which can cause confusion. The most widely recognized and organized version is Lemonade Day, founded in 2007 by Michael Holtzhaus after he helped his daughter raise money by running a lemonade stand. This initiative encourages children to learn basic business skills such as budgeting, goal setting, and customer service service by operating their own stands, and it is celebrated in many U.S. communities on the first Sunday in May each year. Lemonade is one of the world's oldest and most enduring beverages, with a history that stretches back more than 1,000 years. The earliest known ancestors of lemonade appeared in medieval Egypt, where sweetened citrus drinks were consumed for refreshment and medicinal purposes. These early lemon drinks were valued not only for cooling the body in hot climates, but also for their perceived health benefits, including aiding digestion and restoring strength. From the Islamic world, lemonade-like drinks gradually spread into Europe as lemons and sugar became more widely available through trade. By the 17th century, lemonade had become especially popular in Paris, where street vendors sold it from tanks strapped to their backs. Parisian lemonade was sometimes carbonated and often considered both fashionable and healthful, consumed by people across social classes, and even credited by some writers with helping improve urban hygiene during outbreaks of disease. During the 18th century, lemonade gained an important medicinal role when citrus drinks were shown to prevent scurvy, a deadly vitamin C deficiency common among sailors. In 1747, Scottish naval surgeon James Lind demonstrated that lemons and oranges could cure the disease, leading the British Royal Navy to supply sailors with citrus juice and lemonade. This practical breakthrough helped cement lemonade's reputation not just as a refreshment, but as a life-preserving drink, and contributed to its widespread adoption throughout Europe. Lemonade arrived in North America through European colonists and became increasingly popular during the 18th and 19th centuries. It was served at political gatherings, social events, and even the White House, famously during the presidency of Rutherford B. Hayes, whose wife earned the nickname Lemonade Lucy. By the late 1800s, lemonade had become a common non-alcoholic alternative, particularly promoted during the temperance movement and later during Prohibition. One of lemonade's most distinctive cultural legacies in the United States is the lemonade stand. The earliest recorded lemonade stands appeared in New York City in the 19th century, initially operated by adults and shopkeepers. Over time, they became closely associated with children, symbolizing summer, independence, and early entrepreneurship. Today, lemonade remains a global symbol of simplicity, refreshment, and adaptability across cultures.
What is today? It is observed on Monday of the first full week of May. Great Lakes Awareness Day is an annual observance dedicated to highlighting the environmental, economic, and cultural importance of the 5 Great Lakes: Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario. During the last ice age, massive continental glaciers advanced southward from Canada, covering much of the northern United States. These glaciers were thousands of feet thick and moved slowly but relentlessly, grinding against the surface below. As they advanced and retreated over thousands of years, the ice carved deep basins into the weaker rock, enlarging pre-existing valleys and reshaping the terrain. As the climate warmed and the glaciers began to melt, enormous volumes of water were released. This meltwater filled the deep basins left behind by the ice, forming vast freshwater lakes. In some places, retreating glaciers left behind ridges of rock and debris that acted as natural dams, trapping the water and allowing the lakes to grow. The enormous weight of the glaciers had also pressed the Earth's crust downward. Once the ice disappeared, the land slowly began to rise again in a process called isostatic rebound. This gradual lifting changed shorelines, altered drainage patterns, and helped establish the lake's present-day shapes and connections, a process that is still ongoing today. Over time, the lakes became linked by rivers and natural outlets, eventually draining eastward through the St. Lawrence River to the Atlantic Ocean. What remains is the largest system of freshwater lakes on Earth by surface area, a powerful reminder of how ice, rock, and time combine to shape one of the most important natural features in North America. Every day, cartoons make us laugh, think, and sometimes even see the world differently. But once a year, on May 5th, we pause to recognize the people behind those drawings. What is today? This is National Cartoonists Day, a celebration of the artists who have shaped humor, storytelling, journalism, and pop culture for more than a century. National Cartoonists Day traces back to May 5th of 1895. On that day, a comic strip called The Yellow Kid appeared in a New York newspaper, created by artist Richard F. Outcult. It's widely considered the first modern newspaper comic strip. For the first time, recurring cartoon characters were used to tell visual stories to a mass audience, and cartooning was never the same. From that moment on, cartoons became part of daily life. Newspaper strips like Peanuts, Calvin and Hobbes, and Garfield made their way into homes across the country. Editorial cartoons began shaping public opinion, using images instead of long articles to comment on politics and society. Comic books exploded in popularity, giving rise to superheroes, graphic novels, and entire fictional universes. But cartoonists don't just entertain, they educate, challenge, and document history. A single cartoon can express outrage, hope, sarcasm, or empathy in ways words alone often can't. Political cartoonists, in particular, have long been powerful voices, using ink and paper to hold leaders accountable and spark public conversation. Today, cartooning reaches far beyond newspapers. Digital comics, web series, animation, and social media art have opened the door for a new generation of creators. Whether it's a simple single-panel joke, a detailed graphic novel, or an animated series, cartoonists continue to adapt while keeping their core mission the same: telling stories visually. So how can you celebrate National Cartoonist Day? It's simple. Read a comic you've never tried before, support a local artist, share your favorite cartoonist's work, or if you're creatively inclined, grab a pen and draw, even if it's just a stick figure. On May 5th, National Cartoonist Day reminds us that behind every panel, punchline, and character is an artist with a unique voice, and thanks to them, our newspapers, screens, and imaginations are just a little more colorful. What is today? Every year on May 6th, a little-known observance honors a man whose work quietly shaped American music in a lasting way. That observance is Joseph Brackett Day, and it celebrates the composer of one of the most recognizable melodies in American history, Simple Gifts. Joseph Brackett Jr. was born on May 6, 1797 in Maine. At the age of 10, he joined a religious community known as the Shakers, formerly called the United Society of Believers in Christ's Second Appearing. Brackett spent most of his life within this community, eventually becoming an elder and a spiritual leader. The Shakers valued simplicity, equality, communal living, and worship that included both song and movement. In 1848, Brackett composed Simple Gifts, originally intended as a dance song for Shaker worship. At the time, it wasn't famous, widely published, or performed outside Shaker communities. The song's power came from its restraint. Its melody is plain, its structure balanced, and its message centered on humility, finding peace by returning to where one belongs. Nearly a century later, in 1944, composer Aaron Copland used the melody in his ballet, Appalachian Spring. That moment introduced Simple Gifts to an international audience and secured its place in American cultural history. Joseph Brackett Day is observed on May 6th, the anniversary of his birth. The day exists largely because historians and music preservation groups recognize that Brackett's name was often forgotten, even while his music was celebrated. The observance restores authorship to the song and acknowledges the Shaker tradition that produced it. Joseph Brackett never sought fame, and he likely never imagined his song would outlive him by centuries. Joseph Brackett Day isn't about spectacle. It's about remembering how lasting influence can come from simplicity, intention, and quiet craftsmanship. Sometimes the most enduring gifts really are the simplest ones. What is today? Make a Book Day is a special celebration dedicated to creativity, storytelling, and the joy of making something tangible with your own hands. Often observed on the Thursday of the first full week in May, this day invites both children and adults to step into the role of author and creator by writing, illustrating, and crafting their very own books. While many literary holidays focus on reading and consuming stories, Make a Book Day flips the spotlight. It's not about how many pages you read or how quickly you get through a novel. Instead, it's about where stories come from in the first place. It celebrates the act of creation, the moment an idea turns into words, the transformation of blank pages into something meaningful, and the pride that comes with holding a finished book you made yourself. Make a Book Day encourages participants to explore every stage of the bookmaking process. That might begin with a simple idea or a favorite memory. It could grow into a short story, a comic, a picture book, a poetry collection, or even a non-fiction all-about book. From there comes writing, illustrating, designing a cover, and physically assembling the pages. The result doesn't need to be perfect. In fact, perfection isn't the goal at all. Expression is. One of the most powerful aspects of Make a Book Day is that it removes pressure. Spelling doesn't have to be flawless, grammar doesn't have to be polished. The focus is on creativity, imagination, and voice. For children, especially, this can be transformative. Instead of seeing writing as an assignment, they begin to see it as a form of self-expression. Instead of worrying about getting it right, they discover the joy of getting ideas out. For adults, Make a Book Day offers something just as valuable: permission to create. Many grown-ups haven't made something purely creative since they were young. This day serves as a reminder that storytelling isn't just for professional authors or published illustrators. Everyone has stories worth telling, and everyone is capable of making a book. The observance also highlights the importance of the physical book itself. Folding paper, stapling pages, tying bindings with string, or assembling a handmade cover helps participants understand books as crafted objects, not just digital files or store-bought items. This hands-on experience builds a deeper appreciation for authors, illustrators, and book creators of all kinds. Make a Book Day can be celebrated anywhere: classrooms, libraries, homes, and community centers. It can be a short activity or a full-day event. At its heart, Make a Book Day is about empowerment. It sends a simple but powerful message. Stories just don't belong on shelves, they belong in people. And sometimes, all it takes is one day, a few pages, and a little imagination to bring a story to life. On Make a Book Day, everyone becomes a storyteller, and every story matters. What is today? We've got Child Care Provider Day, also known as National Provider Appreciation Day. It's observed each year on the Friday before Mother's Day. The day is dedicated to recognizing and celebrating the essential work of child care providers, early childhood educators, teachers, nannies, and caregivers who support children and families every day. Child Care Provider Day was first established in 1996 by a group of volunteers in New Jersey who recognized that the efforts of child care professionals were often overlooked. For most of human history, childcare was a family-based responsibility. Children were typically cared for by parents, extended family members, or community elders. In agrarian societies, child-rearing responsibilities were shared while families worked together at home or on farms. Formal childcare programs were uncommon because family structures allowed caregivers to stay close to children throughout the day. The Industrial Revolution of the 18th and 19th centuries marked a major shift in childcare history. As factories expanded and more adults, especially women, entered the workforce, families could no longer rely solely on home-based care. By the mid-1800s, the number of women working outside the home had increased significantly, creating a growing demand for non-family caregiving solutions. During this period, early forms of childcare emerged, including informal babysitting arrangements, charitable nursery schools, and care provided by neighbors or private caregivers. These early providers laid the groundwork for organized childcare systems. By the early 1900s, childcare roles became more defined, babysitting grew as a recognized service, and day nurseries appeared in urban areas to support working families. These programs were often run by charitable organizations and focused on safety and supervision rather than structured education. As public awareness of child development increased, childcare providers gradually took on educational responsibilities, helping children learn social skills, language, and basic concepts alongside care. Following World War II, the need for reliable childcare expanded further as women joined the workforce in large numbers. Governments began recognizing childcare as an essential service. In the United States, the Child Care and Development Block Grant Act was introduced in 1990, providing federal funding to improve access to care for low-income families and increase standards across the industry. During this time, licensing requirements, training expectations, and safety regulations became more common, transforming transforming childcare providers into a recognized professional workforce. Modern providers do far more than supervise children. They support early cognitive, emotional, and social development during the most critical years of brain growth. Their work enables parents to participate in the workforce and strengthens communities and local economies.
What is today? It's National Sleepover Day, one of those observances that sounds silly at first until you realize it's rooted in something most of us remember vividly. National Sleepover Day is celebrated every year on May 9th. At its core, this day is about friendship, trust, and shared memories, the things that happen when people let their guard down and spend an entire night together just talking. Sleepovers have been part of growing up in the United States since at least the mid-20th century. Before texting, social media, or streaming, sleepovers were where friendships really deepened. You stayed up too late, ate junk food, watched movies on VHS, told stories, laughed until you cried, and sometimes shared things you'd never say during the day. National Sleepover Day was officially established in 2017 by Cosmopolitan Magazine and Bare Minerals, originally as a promotional event, but it quickly took on a life of its own, and it became an annual observance. What's interesting is that the focus has always been less about the activity and more about the emotional side of sleepovers. The day emphasizes how overnight gatherings often create stronger bonds than casual hangouts. Being tired lowers defenses, conversations get more honest, people listen more closely. That's why many descriptions of National Sleepover Day focus on connection and confidence, especially for girls and young women. Researchers have long noted that shared experiences, particularly ones that break normal routines, help strengthen relationships and form lasting memories. Of course, sleepovers aren't just for kids. Modern celebrations often include adults hosting relaxed movie nights, siblings staying over, longtime friends spending the night talking, or even virtual sleepovers for people who live far apart. The point isn't sleeping on the floor, it's setting aside time where no one is rushing off. Despite beginning as a marketing idea, National Sleepover Day continues to be observed because it taps into something universal, the idea that some of the best conversations happen when the world slows down and everyone's too tired to pretend. Whether you're planning an actual sleepover, inviting friends to stay late, or just remembering the nights that meant something to you, May 9th is a reminder that relationships don't grow from schedules, they grow from time. And sometimes all it takes is staying up a little too late together.
What is today? National Small Business Day is observed every year on May 10th. This day exists to recognize something that's easy to say but easy to forget. Small businesses are the backbone of the American economy and the heartbeat of local communities. When most people hear small business, they picture a corner shop or a family restaurant, and those absolutely count, but the reality is much bigger. Small businesses make up nearly all businesses in the United States and employ almost half of the private sector workforce. That means when you talk about jobs, innovation, and local economies, you're mostly talking about small businesses, even if you don't realize it. National Small Business Day traces its roots back to 1980 when the U.S. Congress formally recognized May 10th as a day to honor small business owners. Small business owners wear multiple hats. They're operators, marketers, customer service reps, accountants, and often the last ones paid. Many work longer hours than employees at large corporations with less security and fewer resources. Yet these businesses outperform expectations when it comes to job creation, resilience, and adaptability. In recent years, that adaptability has been especially clear. Small businesses were among the hardest hit during economic disruptions. Yet they were also among the fastest to pivot, adopt new technology, and reimagine how they serve customers. National Small Business Day isn't about sales numbers or profit margins, it's about recognition. It's about acknowledging that small businesses keep main streets alive, they return more money to local communities, they build relationships, not just transactions, and they give neighborhoods their identity. So how do people usually observe National Small Business Day? The simplest way is also the most effective. Support a small business intentionally. That might mean shopping locally, eat in an independently owned restaurant, leaving a thoughtful review, or sharing a favorite business on social media. For business owners themselves, the day often becomes a moment to pause, something they rarely get to do, and reflect on how far they've come. Starting a small business is risky. Keeping one alive is even harder. And while this day is officially observed in the United States, the reality it highlights isn't unique. Nearly every economy depends on small, independently run enterprises to generate opportunity and sustain communities. May 10th isn't just about celebration, it's also a reminder. A reminder that when you support a small business, you're not just buying a product, you're supporting someone's livelihood, someone's family, and often someone's lifelong work. National Small Business Day may only appear once a year on the calendar, but the impact of small businesses is felt every single day.
What is today most unusual? National Foam Rolling Day is observed every year on May 11th. At first glance, this might sound like one of those oddly specific national days, but it actually highlights something many people overlook. Daily muscle care matters, whether you work at a desk, exercise regularly, or fall somewhere in between. Foam rolling is often called the poor person's massage. It's a form of self-massage known as self-myofascial, a release where you use your body weight and a foam roller to apply pressure to tight or overworked muscles. The goal isn't pain. The goal is encouraging muscles and connective tissue to relax and move more freely. Although foam rolling feels like a modern fitness trend, it's not new. The earliest foam rollers were patented in the 1920s and movement-based self-care methods like the Feldenkrais method, something like that, laid early groundwork for using body awareness to improve mobility and flexibility. What is new is how common foam rolling has become, with more people sitting for long hours, repeating the same movements or pushing hard during workouts. Muscle tightness is no longer just an athlete's problem. National Foam Rolling Day was created in 2015 by TriggerPoint, a company known for developing foam rolling and self-massage tools. The goal wasn't just product promotion, it was to encourage people to treat muscle maintenance the same way they treat brushing their teeth. Not glamorous, but effective when done consistently. Research on foam rolling is still developing, but several studies suggest it may reduce post-exercise muscle soreness, improve range of motion, support recovery after physical activity, promote relaxation and circulation. It's important to be clear, though foam rolling isn't a medical treatment and it doesn't replace professional care when that's needed. What it can do is help people become more aware of how their bodies feel and encourage regular movement instead of ignoring stiffness or discomfort. National Foam Rolling Day encourages people to slow down and spend even 5 to 10 minutes checking in with their muscles. That might mean rolling out your calves after a long day on your feet, easing tension in your back after sitting too long, or adding foam rolling to a warm-up or cool-down routine. The broader message behind the day is simple. Muscles keep score. They remember stress, repetition, inactivity, and overuse. Foam rolling isn't about fixing everything, it's about paying attention before small issues become bigger problems. On May 11th, National Foam Rolling Day serves as a reminder that taking care of your body doesn't always require expensive equipment or professional appointments. Sometimes it just takes a little pressure, a little patience, and the willingness to listen to what your body has been telling you all along. National Odometer Day is observed every year on May 12th. At first, the idea of celebrating an odometer might sound oddly specific. It's just a number on your dashboard, right? But once you look closer, the odometer turns out to be one of the most important and most taken for granted devices in modern transportation. An odometer measures the total distance a vehicle has traveled. It can be mechanical, digital, or a combination of both. That single number influences everything from maintenance schedules to resale value, from warranty coverage to vehicle safety records. The word odometer comes from the ancient Greek. Hodis, meaning path or journey, and metron, meaning measure. Put together, it literally means measuring the journey. That idea goes back far earlier than automobiles. Distance measuring devices existed long before cars. Ancient Greek engineers described early mechanical distance counters. In China's Han Dynasty, engineers created a road carriage where a drum would strike after each set distance traveled. And during Roman times, devices were designed to drop pebbles into a box after each mile, allowing travelers to count how far they've gone. Fast forward to the 1600s, when odometers began appearing on wagons and horse-drawn vehicles, helping travelers and traders estimate routes and travel time. But the odometer truly became a household tool in 1903 1940, when brothers Arthur and Charles Warner of Bellet, Wisconsin, patented the first odometer designed specifically for automobiles. They called it the autometer, and it laid the groundwork for the modern dashboard. Since then, the technology has evolved from spinning gears to digital readouts, but the function hasn't changed. The odometer quietly records every mile your vehicle travels, whether it's a daily commute or a once-in-a-lifetime road trip. National Odometer Day exists to encourage people to understand and respect that number, not to ignore it. Mileage tells a story. It reflects a wear on the engine. Timing for oil changes, brake inspections, and major service intervals. It also plays a key role when buying or selling a vehicle. That's why odometer tampering is illegal in many countries. Rolling back mileage doesn't just affect price, it undermines trust and can put drivers at risk by hiding a vehicle's true condition. The odometer is meant to be an honest witness.
National Crouton Day is observed every year on May 13th. At first glance, celebrating croutons may sound a little excessive. After all, they're just small pieces of bread, but croutons hold a surprisingly important place in food history and in how we think about flavor, texture, and not wasting what we already have. A crouton is typically made from day-old bread, cut into cubes or pieces, then toasted or fried with oil, butter, or seasoning until crisp. The word itself comes from the French croûte. I think it's croûte. I'm not French, so I did the best I could. Meaning crust, which tells you exactly what croutons started as, a way to make use of bread that was no longer fresh. Long before modern kitchens, people across medieval Europe reused stale bread by drying it, frying it, or adding it to soups and stews. By the 16th and 17th centuries in France, small toasted pieces of bread called croutons, or croutons, depending on how you look at it, were being served as garnishes with soups and other dishes. Over time, these crunchy additions evolved from necessity into a deliberate culinary choice. Croutons added texture, absorbed flavor, and made simple foods more filling. They weren't a garnish to show off, they were practical. The crouton's modern popularity owes a lot to French onion soup and later to Caesar salad. When Caesar Cardini introduced his famous salad in the 1920s, toasted bread pieces were part of the original recipe, helping cement croutons as a standard salad topping in North America. National Crouton Day itself is a relatively recent observance. It was founded in 2015 by Rothberry Farms, a family-owned American company that specializes in croutons. National Crouton Day doesn't ask us to reinvent anything, it simply asks us to notice things that quietly improve our everyday meals. The crouton doesn't demand attention, but once it's missing, you notice. So on May 13th, National Crouton Day celebrates the crunch, the creativity, and the long tradition of turning something simple into something satisfying, one toasted cube at a time. What is today? National Buttermilk Biscuit Day is observed every year on May 14th. Few foods are as closely tied to comfort as the buttermilk biscuit. Soft on the inside, lightly crisp on the outside, and endlessly adaptable. It's a food that has quietly shaped American breakfasts, dinners, and traditions for well over a century. A buttermilk biscuit is a type of quick bread. Unlike yeast breads, it rises using baking powder and baking soda, activated by the acidity of buttermilk. Traditional recipes rely on just a few ingredients: flour, fat, salt, leavening, and buttermilk. But technique is what gives biscuits their signature flaky layers. The biscuit's roots go back to the early 19th century when biscuits emerged as an inexpensive, filling bread option before the American Civil War. Early biscuits weren't fluffy, they were dense, durable, and practical, meant to provide calories and soak up liquids, especially gravy. As baking soda became widely available in the mid-1800s, Southern cooks began combining with acidic buttermilk, transforming biscuits from hard rations into the tender, high-rising versions we recognize today. That change helped cement the buttermilk biscuit as a defining feature of Southern American cuisine. Biscuits and gravy, now considered a classic comfort food, emerged from this practicality. A cheap filling bread paired with rich sausage gravy made for an affordable, high-energy meal for laborers and later a cultural staple. In 1875, Alexander P. Ashbourne patented the first mechanical biscuit cutter, helping standardize biscuit shapes and speeds in both home and commercial kitchens. Later in 1931, Ballard and Ballard patented refrigerated canned biscuits, bringing biscuits into grocery stores nationwide and reshaping how Americans baked them at home. Despite these conveniences, the homemade buttermilk biscuit remains iconic. The method, cold fat, minimal handling, folding the dough to build layers, has been passed down through generations, especially a southern household where your meal often feels incomplete without a plate of biscuits on the table. What is today? Bring Flowers to Someone Day is celebrated every year on May 15th, and it's all about spreading kindness through a simple, thoughtful gesture. The idea is easy. Give flowers to someone, anyone, to brighten their day and show that you care. This day isn't just about romance. It encourages people to reach out to friends, family members, co-workers, neighbors, or even strangers. A single flower or a small bouquet can carry a powerful message of appreciation, encouragement, or support. Sometimes the smallest actions can have the biggest emotional impact. Flowers have long been used to express feelings that words don't always capture. A bouquet can say thank you. I'm thinking of you, or you matter to me, without needing a long explanation. That's part of what makes this day special. It reminds us that connection doesn't have to be complicated. Celebrating is simple. You can hand-deliver flowers to someone you care about, surprise someone at work or school, or even leave flowers anonymously for someone who might need a lift. Whether they're store-bought, homegrown, or even picked from the wild, it's the thought behind them that counts. In the end, Bring Flowers to Someone Day is a reminder that kindness doesn't need to be big or expensive. Sometimes something as simple as giving flowers can turn someone's entire day around and maybe even make a lasting difference. What is today? Drawing Day is celebrated every year on May 16th, and it's all about creativity, imagination, and self-expression through art. The day encourages people of all ages to pick up a pencil, pen, marker, or even a digital tool and create something, no matter their skill level. Drawing Day is meant to remind people that drawing isn't just for professional artists. Anyone can do it, whether it's sketching, doodling, or creating detailed artwork. The focus is on enjoying the process and expressing thoughts, ideas, and emotions visually, without worrying about being perfect. The observance began as a creative movement, gaining popularity in the 2000s when artists online encouraged others around the world to make and share drawings. Over time, it grew into an annual celebration supported by schools, museums, and communities, all promoting the simple joy of drawing. Drawing itself has a long history going back thousands of years to early cave art. It has always been one of the most basic and powerful ways humans communicate and tell stories. From ancient sketches to modern digital art, drawing remains a universal form of expression that connects people across cultures. Celebrating Drawing Day is simple. You can sketch something around you, fill a page with doodles, try a new style, or share your artwork with others. The goal isn't to create something perfect. It's to take a moment to be creative and enjoy making something entirely your own. At its core, Drawing Day is a reminder that creativity belongs to everyone. Sometimes all it takes is picking up a pencil to unlock your imagination and see the world in a new way. What is today? Emergency Medical Services Day is observed each year in May as part of National EMS Week, honoring the people who provide life-saving care on the front lines of emergencies. This day is dedicated to recognizing EMTs, paramedics, dispatchers, and all emergency medical personnel who respond when every second matters. Whether it's a car accident, a medical crisis, or a disaster, these professionals step into unpredictable situations with one goal: to save lives and provide critical care before patients even reach a hospital. Emergency Medical Services Day also highlights how important early care is. For many people, the first medical help they receive happens at the scene, on a street, in a home, or inside an ambulance. The quick decisions and actions made in those moments can mean the difference between recovery and tragedy. The observance is part of a larger tradition that began in 1974 when President Gerald Ford established EMS Week to recognize the vital role these professionals play in public health health and safety. Since then, it has grown into a nationwide effort to both thank EMS workers and raise awareness about their essential services. Celebrating the day can be as simple as saying thank you to local responders, learning basic first aid or CPR, or spreading awareness about the work EMS teams do every day. Communities often use this time to recognize their dedication, educate the public, and remind everyone just how important these lifesavers are. At its core, Emergency Medical Services Day is about appreciation. It's a reminder that behind every siren is a team of highly trained professionals ready to help at a moment's notice, bringing skill, compassion, and calm to some of life's most critical situations. What is today? It's National Cheese Souffle Day. It's celebrated every year on May 18th, honoring one of the most iconic and delicate dishes in French cuisine. It's a day dedicated to enjoying the rich, airy texture and savory flavor of a perfectly baked cheese souffle. A cheese souffle is a baked egg-based dish known for its dramatic rise in the oven and its light, fluffy texture. It's made by combining a flavorful base, often cheese, with egg yolks, and then carefully folding in beaten egg whites that give it that signature puffed look. When baked just right, it turns golden on top and soft and airy inside, creating a dish that feels both rich and delicate at the same time. The origins of the souffle go back to 18th century France, where early recipes began appearing in cookbooks by French chefs. Over time, legendary chef Marie-Antoine Carême refined the technique in the 1800s, helping turn the souffle into a symbol of skill and elegance in the kitchen. What makes the souffle so unique is how precise it is to prepare. Timing, temperature, and technique all matter, and the dish famously begins to collapse shortly after it's removed from the oven. That challenge is part of its appeal. It's a recipe that rewards patience and attention to detail while delivering a truly memorable result. Celebrating National Cheese Souffle Day is simple. You can try making one yourself, order one from a restaurant, or explore different variations using cheeses like Gruyere, cheddar, or Parmesan. No matter how you celebrate, it's a chance to experience a classic dish that transforms simple ingredients into something special. At its core, this day is about appreciating the art of cooking. National Cheese Souffle Day reminds us that even a humble combination of eggs and cheese can become something extraordinary with a little care, creativity, and technique. What is today? Plant Something Day is celebrated every year on May 19th, and it's all about getting your hands in the dirt and adding a little more green to the world. The idea is simple. Plant anything, whether it's a flower, a tree, herbs, or even a small houseplant, and take part in helping the environment grow. This day encourages people of all ages to connect with nature in a hands-on way. You don't need a big backyard to participate. A small pot on a windsill is just as meaningful. The goal is to remind everyone that even the smallest planting effort can make a difference and bring a sense of accomplishment and joy. Plant Something Day was created by the National Initiation for Consumer Horticulture to raise awareness about the importance of plants and encourage more people to start gardening. What began as a simple idea has grown into a nationwide observance that brings communities together through planting activities and environmental awareness. Plants play a vital role in our world. They help clean the air, support wildlife, reduce pollution, and even improve mental well-being. By planting something, people are not only beautifying their surroundings, but also contributing to a healthier and more sustainable environment. Celebrating is easy. You can plant flowers in your yard, grow herbs in your kitchen, start a vegetable garden, or join a community planting event. No matter how big or small, every green addition counts and helps create a better future. At its core, Plant Something Day is a reminder that growth starts with a single step, or in this case, a single seed. It encourages everyone to take a moment to care for the earth and watch something beautiful grow from it. What is today? What we got for you is National Pick Strawberries Day. It's celebrated every year on May 20th, marking a sweet moment during peak strawberry season when the berries are ripe and ready to harvest. It's a day that encourages people to head outdoors, visit local farms, and enjoy the simple pleasures of picking fresh strawberries right from the plant. This observance is all about connecting with nature and experiencing food at its freshest. There's something special about picking a sun-ripened strawberry and tasting it right away. Sweeter, juicier, and more flavorful than anything found at the store. The day brings people together, turning a simple activity into a fun and memorable experience for families and friends. National Pick Strawberries Day is also rooted in agricultural tradition. While the exact origin of the day isn't clearly known, it reflects centuries of strawberry cultivation and the importance of farming communities that grow and harvest this popular fruit. Celebrating it helps highlight the journey from farm to table and supports local growers. Strawberries themselves have a long history dating back to ancient times when they were used by the Romans for medicinal purposes. Over the centuries, they evolved into the sweet, bright red fruit we know today, becoming one of the most loved fruits in the world. At its core, National Pick Strawberry Day is a reminder to slow down and enjoy life's simple pleasures. Whether you're out in the fields or just enjoying strawberries at home, it's a chance to celebrate the flavors of the season and the joy of sharing them with others. What is today? It's National Waitstaff Day. It's celebrated every year on May 21st, and it's a day dedicated to recognizing the hardworking servers, bartenders, and restaurant staff who help make every dining experience enjoyable. This day shines a spotlight on the people who work behind the scenes and on the front lines of the hospitality industry. Waitstaff don't just deliver food, they manage multiple tables, handle special requests, and create a welcoming atmosphere, all while staying organized and attentive under pressure. National Waitstaff Day also highlights how important these professionals are to the overall restaurant experience. A great server can turn a simple meal into something memorable, acting as the connection between the kitchen and the customer. Their attitude, efficiency, and attention to detail often make all the difference in whether a guest leaves satisfied. The observance was created to give recognition to waitstaff and acknowledge the skill, patience, and dedication their work requires. Founded by Gaylord Ward, the day encourages both customers and restaurant owners to show appreciation for the people who help restaurants thrive. Celebrating is simple and meaningful. You can thank your server, leave a generous tip, or even give a positive review or shout out. Small gestures like these can go a long way in showing respect for a job that often involves long hours, constant movement, and a high level of customer interaction. At its core, National Waitstaff Day is about appreciation. It's a reminder to recognize the effort and care that goes into every dining experience and to thank the people who make it all happen with professionalism and a smile. So what is today? Bitcoin Pizza Day is celebrated every year on May 22nd, marking one of the most famous moments in cryptocurrency history. The day remembers when Bitcoin was first used to buy a real-world item, turning a digital experiment into something practical and usable. The story goes back to May 22nd of 2010, when a programmer named Laszlo Hanyecz paid 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. At the time, those coins were worth only about $41, and the purchase seemed like a simple, fun experiment. But that small transaction became the first documented case of Bitcoin being used as actual money. Over the years, that same 10,000 Bitcoin has grown into value dramatically, reaching hundreds of millions of dollars depending on the market. Because of that, the purchase is often called the most expensive pizza order in history. What seemed ordinary back then is now seen as a powerful example of how much the technology has evolved. But Bitcoin Pizza Day isn't just about money, it represents a turning point. The moment when people realized that cryptocurrency could actually be used in everyday life. Before that, Bitcoin existed mostly among developers and early adapters with no real-world use. That pizza purchase proved it could function as a true form of exchange. Today, the day is celebrated around the world, especially in the crypto community. People mark the occasion by eating pizza, sharing the story, and reflecting on how far digital currency has come. It's both a celebration and a reminder of how innovation often starts with small, simple steps. At its core, Bitcoin Pizza Day is about innovation and possibility. It shows how a single decision, ordering 2 pizzas, helped spark a global movement that continues to reshape the way people think about money. What is today? National Italian Beef Day is celebrated each year on the 4th Saturday of May, honoring one of Chicago's most iconic and flavorful foods, the Italian beef sandwich. This day is all about recognizing a sandwich that has become a symbol of Chicago's food culture. The Italian beef is made with thinly sliced seasoned roast beef, served on a crusty roll, often topped with sweet peppers or spicy giardiniero, and dipped in rich, savory juices. It's
It's messy, bold, and packed with flavor. The sandwich itself dates back to the early 1900s when Italian immigrants in Chicago found creative ways to stretch tougher cuts of meat by slow roasting the beef, slicing it thin, and serving it on bread. They created a meal that was both affordable and delicious. Over time, it grew from a practical dish into a beloved local tradition. National Italian Beef Day was officially established in 2017 by the Biano restaurant chain as a way to honor this culinary heritage and celebrate its deep roots in Chicago's Italian-American community. Since then, the day has grown in popularity, bringing attention to the sandwich across the country. Celebrating is simple and delicious. People visit local sandwich shops, try authentic Chicago-style Italian beef, or even make their own at home. Many restaurants offer specials, and fans of the sandwich take the opportunity to enjoy it dry, wet, or fully dipped in gravy. At its core, National Italian Beef Day is about more than just food. It's a celebration of culture, tradition, and the creativity of communities who turn simple ingredients into something unforgettable, and a reminder of how one sandwich can tell the story of an entire city. What is today Aviation Maintenance Technician Day is observed every year on May 24th, honoring the skilled professionals who keep aircraft safe and ready for flight. The date was chosen to recognize the birthday of Charles Edward Taylor, the mechanic who built the engine that powered the Wright brothers' first successful airplane. This day shines a light on aviation maintenance technicians, often called AMTSs, who work behind the scene to inspect, repair, and maintain aircraft. While pilots and flight crews are visible to passengers, these technicians play an equally critical role in ensuring that every plane meets strict safety standards before it ever leaves the ground. The history of the day traces back to the early days of aviation. In 1903, Charles Taylor designed and built a lightweight engine in just a few weeks, making powered flight possible. Without his work, the Wright brothers' historic flight might never have happened. Today, he's often called the father of aircraft maintenance, and his legacy continues through the technicians who keep modern aviation running safely. Aviation Maintenance Technician Day was officially recognized in the United States in 2008 when a congressional resolution established the observance to honor both Taylor's contributions and the ongoing work of aviation professionals. At its core, Aviation Maintenance Technician Day is about recognition. It's a reminder that every safe takeoff and landing depends not just on the people in the cockpit, but on highly trained professionals working tirelessly behind the scenes to keep the skies safe. What is today National Missing Children's Day is observed every year on May 25th, serving as an important and heartfelt reminder of the need to protect children and bring missing kids home safely. This day was established in 1983 by President Ronald Reagan in memory of Eaton Patz, a 6-year-old boy who disappeared in New York City on May 25th of 1979. His case drew national attention and helped spark a movement focused on missing children and child safety. National Missing Children's Day is dedicated to raising awareness about children who are still missing and reminding the public that child safety must remain a priority. It also honors law enforcement organizations and volunteers who work tirelessly to locate missing children and support families searching for answers. The day highlights how important critical awareness and community involvement are. Even small actions like paying attention, sharing information, or reporting tips can make a difference in ongoing cases. It also encourages families to have conversations about safety, including knowing trusted adults, staying alert, and understanding what to do in emergencies. National Missing Children's Day is also a time to remember those who are still missing while recognizing the children who have been safely recovered. It brings attention to the emotional impact on families and reinforces the importance of continuing the search, no matter how much time has passed. At its core, this observance is about awareness, prevention, and hope. It reminds us that every child deserves a safe childhood and that communities play a vital role in helping protect children and reunite families. Hey, gals and guys, I thought I'd just jump on here. I know that's kind of unusual. As far as the Eaton case, I'd go check that out on your own. It's interesting, and there's so many ins and outs of it. I can't do that justice in the time I have in this video. And then I would go to the missing. I'm going to put this in the link as far as the Missing and Exploited Children website. Just check it out. I checked out my area, and obviously I can't put every poster up. So check it out. You never know. Never know. So, all right, that's all I had to say, and peace out. What is today? World Dracula Day is celebrated every year on May 26th, honoring one of the most famous characters in literature, Count Dracula. The date marks the original publication of Bram Stoker's novel Dracula, which was first released on May 26th of 1897. This day is all about recognizing the lasting impact of Dracula on horror, literature, and pop culture. The novel introduced many of the vampire traits people recognize today and helped shape the modern image of vampires as mysterious, powerful, and immortal beings. World Dracula Day also celebrates the creativity behind the story. Bram Stoker spent years researching folklore, history, and legends while developing the character, drawing inspiration from Eastern European myths and historical figures. He created a story that would go on to influence books, movies, television, and art for generations. The observance itself began in 2012, created by the Whitby Dracula Society, 1897, to honor the novel's cultural importance and its connection to Whitby, England, one of the key settings that inspired the book. Celebrating World Dracula Day can be both fun and creative. People often reread the novel, watch classic or modern vampire films, host theme parties, or explore Gothic literature. It's a chance to dive into the darker, mysterious side of storytelling and enjoy the thrill that has fascinated audiences for more than a century. At its core, World Dracula Day is about storytelling and imagination. It reminds us how one novel published in the 1800s created a legend that still captivates people today and continues to shape how we imagine the supernatural world. What is today? Just to prove to you there is a day for everything this time out, we have Cellophane Tape Day. It's celebrated every year on May 27th, honoring one of the most useful and often overlooked inventions in everyday life, transparent adhesive tape. The date marks May 27th, 1930, when the product received its patent, officially introducing it to the world. This day is all about recognizing how something so simple can play such a big role in daily life. From wrapping gifts and sealing packages to fixing torn paper and helping with crafts, cellophane tape is a tool people rely on without even thinking about it. Its convenience and versatility have made it a staple in homes, schools, and workplaces everywhere. Cellophane tape was invented by Richard Drew, an engineer at 3M, who developed it in 1930 by combining adhesive technology with a clear material called cellophane. His invention created a transparent, easy-to-use tape that could stick items together while remaining nearly invisible. The invention quickly became popular, especially during the Great Depression, when people used it to repair and extend the life of everyday items instead of replacing them. It proved to be both practical and economical, turning a simple idea into a household essential. Cellophane Tape Day is about appreciating innovation in its simple form. It highlights how a thin strip of adhesive has helped people solve problems, stay organized, and create things for nearly a century. Truly, 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 truly a day for everything. I'll be doing these videos until the end of time. What is today? Get ready to get your drink on. World Passion Fruit Martini Day is celebrated every year on May 28th, honoring one of the most popular and vibrant cocktails in the world. It's a day dedicated to enjoying the tropical sweet and tangy flavor of the passion fruit martini and celebrating cocktail culture in a fun, social way. This day is also about experience of sharing and enjoying a drink that blends both flavors with a touch of elegance. The passion fruit martini is known for its balance of sweetness and citrus tang, often made with vodka, passion fruit, and hints of vanilla. Its bright color and unique presentation make it a favorite at bars, parties, and celebrations around the world. The drink itself is a relatively modern origin. It was created in 2002 by bartender Douglas Ankra. Ankra? A-N-K-R-H? Ankra? I'm not sure. In London, where it quickly became a signature cocktail. Originally known as the Porn Star Martini, it gained global popularity for its distinctive taste and eye-catching presentation, often served with a shot of sparkling wine on the side. A shot of sparkling wine? Never had a shot of wine before. Anyways, World Passion Fruit Martini Day was later established as a way to celebrate this now iconic drink and the creativity behind the cocktail making. Over time, it has grown into an international observance, bringing people together to enjoy not just just the drink itself, but the artistry and social atmosphere that come with it. Celebrating the day is simple and flexible. People might visit a bar, make their own version at home, or gather with friends to try different variations. It's also a chance for bartenders to experiment, showcase their skills, and create new twists on a modern classic. World Passion Fruit Martini Day is about flavor and fun. It highlights how one creative cocktail can bring people together, turning a simple drink into a shared experience filled with taste, style, and celebration. What is today? End of the Middle Ages Day is observed every year on May 29th, marking a major turning point in world history, the transition from the medieval era to the early modern age. This day is tied to a specific historical event that took place on May 29th of 1453, when the city of Constantinople fell to the Ottoman Empire. This moment ended the Byzantine Empire, which has lasted for over 1,000 years, and is widely considered one of the key events that brought the Middle Ages to a close. The fall of Constantinople was more than just the capture of a city. It changed the course of history. It shifted power in Europe and the surrounding regions, strengthened the Ottoman Empire, and opened the door to new ideas, trade routes, and cultural exchange. Many scholars and intellectuals fled west afterward, helping spark the Renaissance, a period known for art, science, and learning. The Middle Ages themselves lasted for roughly 1,000 years, beginning around 476 AD after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. This long period was marked by feudal systems, powerful kingdoms, and a strong influence from the church, but it also produced important developments in culture, architecture, and knowledge. End of the Middle Ages Day isn't about a single moment that instantly changed everything. Instead, it represents a gradual shift from medieval life to a new era of exploration, scientific thinking, and cultural growth. The Renaissance, the invention of the printing press, and global exploration all followed, shaping the modern world we know today. End of the Middle Ages Day is about transformation. It highlights how humanity moved from a time of castles and kingdoms into an age of discovery and progress, proving that even the end of one era can be the beginning of something entirely new. What is today? National E-Bike Day is celebrated every year on May 30th, and it's a day dedicated to the growing popularity of electric bicycles and the role they play in modern transportation. This observance is also about highlighting how e-bikes combine technology, sustainability, and fun. Electric bicycles use a motor to assist pedaling, making it easier to travel longer distances, climb hills, and enjoy riding without as much physical strain. They've quickly become a popular way for people to commute, exercise, and explore their surroundings. National E-Bike Day was first established in 2023 by Electric E-Bikes to encourage people to try electric transportation and recognize the benefits these bikes offer. While the holiday itself is new, the concept of e-bikes actually dates back to the late 1800s, showing just how long innovation in cycling has been evolving. One of the biggest reasons this day matters is the impact e-bikes can have on the environment. They produce little to no emissions, help reduce traffic congestion, and offer a cleaner alternative to driving. By choosing an e-bike, people can lower their carbon footprint while still enjoying a convenient and efficient way to get around. But where do you put your groceries? E-bikes also provide health benefits. Even with motor assistance, riders still get exercise, improving cardiovascular health while putting less strain on joints compared to traditional biking. This makes cycling more accessible to people of all ages and fitness levels. National E-Bike Day is about embracing the future of transportation. It shows how innovation can make everyday travel more sustainable, accessible, and enjoyable, all while keeping people moving forward in a cleaner, smarter way. What is today? World No Tobacco Day is observed every year on May 31st as a global effort to raise awareness about the dangers of tobacco use and promote healthier, tobacco-free lifestyles. It is led by the World Health Organization and supported worldwide by governments, health groups, and communities. This day focuses on educating people about the serious health risks linked to tobacco, including cancer, heart disease, and respiratory illness. Tobacco use is one of the leading causes of preventable death, responsible for more than 8 million deaths each year worldwide, including many from secondhand smoke exposure. World Tobacco Day was established in 1987 by the World Health Organization to bring global attention to the tobacco epidemic and its impact. The first observance took place in 1988, and since then, May 31st has been recognized annually as a day to promote awareness, action, and change. The observance also highlights the tactics used by the tobacco and nicotine industry, especially those aimed at attracting young people, illegal. Campaigns often focus on protecting youth, encouraging people to quit, and supporting policies like advertising bans, smoke-free environments, and higher taxes on tobacco products. World No Tobacco Day encourages individuals and communities to take action. This can include quit smoking, supporting others who want to quit, learning about the risks, and promoting healthier choices. Even taking a break from tobacco for one day can be a step toward long-term change. World No Tobacco Day is about health and awareness. It serves as a powerful reminder that choosing a tobacco-free life can lead to a longer, healthier future, and that small decisions today can make a big difference over time.